BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV. BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today. You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today.
Welcome to the Information Man Show. Welcome to the Information Man Show on planet Earth.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Peace. This is the Information Man Show. Welcome to the program. Let's get at it right now. I'm so glad that you all are with me. I'm going to ask you all a few questions before we get started with today's program. You've seen the title of this video. I'm sure a lot of us have grown up enjoying some of these sitcoms. Some of us, when we were very young, we didn't have the consciousness to understand fully some of the damage of these stereotypical shows that came out in the 70s. You had the Different Strokes, Red Fox in Sanford and Son. Of course, we know Good Times. I want to talk about this because Norman Lear, who is the producer of these shows, we know him best known as All in the Family with Archie Bunker. Remember the Archie Bunker show? And he's responsible, he's responsible for some of the black sitcoms that we looked at growing up as kids. And let's be honest, we laughed at some of this stuff. We would sing along with the Jeffersons, talking about moving on up on the east side to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Oh, we're moving on up. I gotta be honest, we sung these songs, but when you really think about it, it was sort of, I gotta be honest, minstrel show like. And then we remember the show Good Times. You know, ain't we lucky we got 'em. But the question is, were there really good times? And then, of course, you had Jimmy Walker with the Dynamite. And Dynamite right there. Of course, we had Red Fox, Sanford and Son. And let's be honest, we laughed at it. We enjoyed Red Fox when he would say, "Oh, I'm coming to join you." Oh, you big dummy. We laughed at it. We laughed at it, everybody. We enjoyed it, even though we knew that they made him a junk man living in a junky-looking house in a junkyard, driving a junkyard junkie car. We laughed at it growing up as kids, but we really didn't understand what we were looking at, what we were watching. A lot of this shit was nothing more than a sophisticated, I'm sorry, I'm going to make some people upset today who enjoyed these programs, but we got to examine it. I watched them. You watched them. We can recite lines in the damn shows. We can imitate the characters. But on the biggest point that I want to bring out today is that most of this stuff was minstrel shows at very best. And of course, you had Aunt Esther, who said, "You ain't nothing but a fish-eye fool." Because her and Fred would go back and forth. And of course, there was Rollo, who was on the show, who was the cool guy who would hang out with Lamont. They would, run around looking for women, the stereotypical things. That go Rollo right there. Okay? Here is Rollo as a older man. That's Rollo. You see him on the picture right there in the corner side. Young man right there. He was the man who was the good friend of Lamont, and he would give him the boom, boom, slap him on the hand and pop it on the black hand side. And there he is right there. This is a recent picture of him, but he has passed away. So he has gone home to glory. He lived to be about 80 years old. That's the Lamont. That's Rollo, Lamont's good friend who played that character. And he had passed away at 80 years old. Many of us grew up with different strokes, right? It was another depiction of the white savior complex, right? It takes white folks to save black children from their devastating background.
Tell the
right?
truth.
What was the line in Different Strokes, everybody? We're going to have a come to Jesus today. We're going to have examination today because this man right here who made these, wrote these, and came up with these. Well, let me correct something. He wrote and added his own bullshit to these sitcoms. Okay, now he has gone home. He's passed away. He lived to be 101 years old. He passed away this week. And there's been some talk about his legacy. People are praising him for putting on all these shows like Mod. What were the shows that he produced? Let me name them for you. Let's get this whole thing on the right foot. Remember, he created All in the Family. I talked about that already. He's the creator of Mall. Remember, people liked her show back in the day. He's the creator of Different Strokes. He's the creator of One Day at a Time. He's the creator of Sanford and Son. And people forgot that they made another reboot of Sanford and Son without the son called Sanford. That didn't work out too well. Then you had Jeffersons. You had 227. Have y'all forgotten about 227? And let me put that up here right now. He was the creator, or at least we think he was, of 227. And so he's passed away. And the question is, what is his legacy? Is it a legacy that, okay, he put black people on television, which launched some of the careers of some of the actors that we know of today. But the question is, was the material that Norman put out there, was it stereotypical material? Was it demeaning to what black people, what a black father is? When you look at someone like James Evans, and this is the thing about James Evans, he was a strong black man raising a black family, and what at that time was a depiction of them being in a Chicago project. And they called it good times, but it didn't seem like they had a lot of good times. They displayed pimps, hookers, all the different stereotypes. They had Jimmy Walker constantly. I mean, he was artistic. I mean, he was making paintings and all those sort of things that were incredible paintings. At least that's what they portrayed in the TV show. And of course, the paintings that they were showing was of a very famous black artist that they were showing through JJ, acting like he was making those paintings. But JJ was more buffoonery than he was anything that we could really learn anything from. And this is the sort of stuff that Norm put out there. Now, I'm going to say something, and I got every right to say what I'm about to say. Norm is Jewish. And let's be honest, a lot of the people who worked in the movie industry in Hollywood, and even still to this day, whether it be in television or film, a lot of the directors and writers did tend to be people that were Jewish. When you look at the expectation, the biopics, the 1970s movies, the exploitation films of black people showing us as pimps and prostitutes and all sort of underground type of terrible behavior, most of these movies and TV shows were being put out there not by black people. There might have been black people in the movies, just like you saw in Hollywood Shuffle. Remember, Hollywood Shuffle was a really good movie that portrayed those stereotypes. That's exactly what was going on in Hollywood by people like Norm. White folks who thought they knew black people better than we knew ourselves. And then when we decided to say, hey, we don't want to be portrayed that way, they'll do everything to get rid of you. They do everything to demonize you and what have you. And this is why when we say we got no friends, we got plenty of enemies, why don't we wake up and realize this, that we got ourselves? We need to unite and be on code with one another. You see, as they celebrate this man for his accomplishments in Hollywood and television and try to portray that, oh, he's responsible for giving black people an opportunity to act and so on and so forth, you have to look deeper at the material and the writers and how white folks at that time would take black writers and take their material and say, nah, that ain't black enough. We're going to blacken it up. And it would be with all this, yes, man, my boss, man, my boss, boss. Step and fetch it type bullshit. They had these, and I'm going to keep it real with you all. Most white people at that time, and not only white people, but all people, as well as even today, they get most of their views, their ideologies, their stereotypes, how they see black men and women and children. They get it through looking at black sitcoms. Today, you don't have too many black sitcoms like you had back in the 70s and early 80s and mid 80s. What you have today to replace the black sitcoms that destroys our image of the black woman, the black child, the black man.
Tell the truth.
What you have today, ladies and gentlemen, is you have the minstrel show of the rap, the rap music, where you have the mumble rap, you have the gangster rap, where you have these Negroes that will wear their pants below their butt, and you have the Reds and all these people, the Cardi B's, who will put out a sexual, deviant image of black women, a deviant image of black men with their pants below their behind, like they got a bowel movement. And guess who's bankrolling that type of stuff while you see these rappers on these videos, pushing this image, pushing the drill music, pushing the take the life of another black man and black child or black woman, pushing the negative energies. It's people just like Norm. It's people who are writing the checks. It's people that look just like this man who put out his stereotypical TV shows that many of us laughed at it as kids, many of us looked at. It's the same game that's happening today. It's people that look just like him who are behind the scenes putting out this ratchet rap music, ratchet images. And of course, you have black people that are willing to sell themselves out for these ratchet images. It's people just like him. See, because this week they wanted to celebrate this man. I'm not here to celebrate him. I'm here to expose him, as many people were trying to expose him years and years and years ago.
Tell the truth.
Because what the white liberals, the white folk, because he considers himself a liberal, what they'll do, and the conservatives ain't no damn better either, is that they'll try to say, well, Norm was groundbreaking. Norm tried to change and give black people opportunities, but the opportunities was a minstrel show at very best. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I continue with the rest of the presentation, I want you, let's take a vote in the chat room right now. Let's be honest. What were your favorite shows that I just named that this man was producing? Or at least we think he was producing, because I've got other, as you see the title, I got other breaking news to break down to you. Was your favorite show 227? Was it the Jeffersons? Was it the Different Strokes? Was it the Jeffersons? Was it the Sanford and Son? I want you to write in the chat room which one of these types of programs you actually enjoyed watching or that you did watch. I want y'all to take close attention to this right here. Remember what's happening? And you had the character Rerun, who was always bucking his eyes, buck dancing, pop locking. They made him the butt of every joke. They made him they made a minstrel out of him. No different than Jim. There's no difference between him and Jimmy Walker. No difference between him and Jimmy Walker. No different. Same shuck and jive. Now, I'm going to tell you and remind you, if you have forgotten, where did they originally get the idea for what's happening now? I don't think that Norm produced the show. He might have been a silent producer on the show, but I'm going to tell you where they got the idea for what's happening. You got Negroes on YouTube when it comes to talking about manosphere content that talk about Big Shirley. They use that word Big Shirley. Well, we know where they got it from. They got it from who you see on this picture. Shirley, remember, she was the one in the diner that they used to always go to and have great drinks. Everyone, every time they do these shows about black people, it's always a grape drink. They think all black people drink grape sodas or something like that. We have to be honest with ourselves, folks. We have to be honest. We really do have to be honest about the effery of these programs. So let's take a vote right now. We got what's happening, right? And remember, they did a reboot of what's happening, I think in the early 90s, or maybe the late 80s. No, I think it was the early 90s. They tried it again. Remember, this is the original one right here, right? And then here's the other one. Now the sister that played Rod's sister to the far right, she became a veterinarian. She's a doctor of animal medicine. But here is the reboot. They go Shirley, they go Rerun. They always had him being the buffoon, for the comedy relief. There's the mama right there who was always working hard. And you notice once again, no father in the household, right? No father in the household, just like Different Strokes. Both the father and the mother, they died, in some type of car crash or what have you. And here comes the white saviors to save the day, Because, black folks don't have no other relatives to take care of black children. And of course, Norm put his own sense of black dialogue in the show by making, yours truly. What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? Norm made sure that he put his own expertise because, they think they know black people better than black people. They think that they got it down pat. So don't be fooled by this eulogy of this man that they've been talking about. Oh, he was a great writer, producer. He put a lot of shows out there that are groundbreaking. And, he put some black people in a few TV shows that were groundbreaking, like Jeffersons and shit like that. Oh, bullshit. All them shows were buffoonery at very best. And when the actors on these shows tried to buck against the system and say, you know what, we don't like what we're doing. We don't like you trying to get the male image out of the show. We don't like the fact that everything is goofy and buck dancing and all this other nonsense. We need to show, when a black man like James Evans, John Amos, who said, hey, I know what a black father is and how you got us doing on this show, how you got me behaving is not a black father. Now, his image as a black father was strong on the show, but he thought that the JJ, the Jimmy Walker image, was taking away from the other positive dynamics of the show. And Norm did not like him telling him about himself. And Norm said, we got to get rid of this Negro off this show. A lot of us, let me correct. Let's do some status correction here. Let's do some status correction here. A lot of us was under the belief that this brother right here, I'm going to put him right next to me. A lot of us was under a belief that John Amos, and I got to say, we've all heard, what was it, a year ago? There was something going on with his daughter and his family. He was in a hospital, just terrible things that's going on. And I hated to hear about that. I just got to say that for now. But a lot of us who grew up with his character, this is a black man who stood up on this show because he didn't like the betrayal of JJ character overtaking the positive things on the show that they were trying to put out there and what he was doing as a father figure. And we need more James Evans in our households. And so when the brother tried to buck the system and tell this usual suspect that, hey, this is not, the black father. I'm telling you, this is how black fathers act, behave, and raise their kids. And this is the strong black father image is what we need to maintain on the show. The usual suspect tried to water it down and shut Brother Amos down. We've been under the impression that this brother left the show because he didn't like what was going on. That's not true. He tried to buck the system, fight against the system, and say, I don't like what's going on. So he was removed from the show by this man right here, Norman Lear. Norman Lear. Say his name correct. He was removed from the show by this man, Norman Lear, who he had a phone call conversation with. And he said from the very beginning, they were looking to get rid of him off the show because this man right here, as I told you, black people didn't run Hollywood. We know who was running Hollywood, and I just said it to you earlier. He said, we got to get rid of this Negro. He's a destructive force. I'm going to determine what a black father is. I'm going to determine what is best for black life on television. That was Norm Lear. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you the truth, what this brother had to go through. So with that said, everybody, what are your shows? Let's take a look. What are your shows? Jill's Chocolate Boutique says, whoa, Bob TV, what's going on, brother Bob TV? Good to see you. He was scared of James because he was about it. He said that he fought with the writers every day on the show. Don't go nowhere because I've got more for you. Explosive information for you. So don't change your dial. Monique Hill says, info, what's going on? Then our people need to make their own networks and not sell them off to exactly. Now, Tyler Perry got raked over the coals in the media by black people because Tyler Perry had praised Norm. There's some articles out there. You can look this up. I meant to put the clip up there for you. Tyler Perry said that he loved Norm. He loved what he did with the television program, that it inspired him, the whole 9 yard. And when he put that out there, he got backlash from the black community because, quiet as it's kept, black people didn't like a lot of these portrayals on these shows. And then remember when they came out with the JJ doll? You know that mostly white people brought that JJ doll. It wasn't a lot of black people who brought the JJ doll because there was a lot of black people who did not like the imagery. Or Reliable says, yep, I watched Archie Bunker also. Okay. Pator Afro, what do you got for us? At Nia, thank you, goodness. He came around when he did Spike All the Way. Yeah, right. We got my man from Bob TV. Make sure y'all check out Bob TV. Subscribe to his channel when you get a chance. He's a good brother. He does great commentary on his program over there. Great man here. He says, let me see here. He says, Norm did not like his black heterosexual male image, just a slight firm stance, scared their weak asses. Correct. You're absolutely correct. Let me see. Esther Rolle only came back to Good Times because she didn't want the cast to lose their jobs. Norm was going to cancel the show. That's right. That's right. I was going to get to that. You're absolutely right. Let's get her on here immediately. Here she is, Esther Rolle. You're absolutely right. There she is on the show. Here she is, and I think a very elegant look. Beautiful, isn't she? Yes. I agree with your assessment there. Esther Rolle was the next person that was going to leave the show because she didn't like what was going on. Let me let you hear an audio from James Amos. Check this out. You're going to really get something out of this.
Trade made clear as time went by.
Let me stop that and let's play it now.
That black men had been portrayed through the media, and I made clear as time went by, the writers, some of them became incensed that I was of the opinion that I knew more about a black father than they did. And it got to the place where I almost had a confrontation with several of the writers. I mean, a physical confrontation. And I guess they got tired of having their lives threatened every week about something as meaningless, seemingly meaningless, as a TV script. So that's what prompted Norman Lear to make the call. He said, we can't do this anymore. That black men had been portrayed through the media.
So Norman, as I said before, who people are praising since he passed away at 101 years old. You heard Brother John Amos tell us what was going on with this man that you see on the screen right here. Let me let you hear another version of his explanation for what happened. Check this out.
That black men had been portrayed.
Oh, I played that already. Here's another one.
Show, and we had a number of differences, as evidenced by my early departure from the show. Was I felt that with two other younger children, one of whom who aspired to become a Supreme Court justice, that would be Ralph Carter or Michael, and the other, Bernadette Stannis, I think she aspired to become a surgeon. And the differences I had with the producers of the show was that I felt too much emphasis was being put on JJ and his chicken hat and saying dynamite every third page.
Tell the truth.
When just as much emphasis and mileage could have been gotten out of my other two children and the concomitant jokes and humor that could have come out of that. But I wasn't the most diplomatic guy, like I said, in those days, and they got tired of having their lives threatened over jokes. So they said, to tell you what, why don't we kill him off and we'll all get on with our lives. Life's too short. So that taught me a lesson that I wasn't as important as I thought I was to the show or to Norman Lear's plans. And he was not about to have a disruptive factor. That was me, a disruptive factor. I got the call. We were on hiatus. when I found that I was no longer to be a part of the show. And Norman's secretary at that time, a very nice young lady by the name of J.D. Joe, called and said, John, Norman would like to speak to you. And I thought that was kind of unusual as we were on hiatus. And so Norman got on the phone. He said, Big John. I said, yes, Norman. He said, I've got some good news and some bad news. What do you want first? I said, hey, it's your dime. You made the call. He said, well, the good news is we've been picked up for another season, which was a foregone conclusion because we'd never been out of it. Once we broke into the top 10, we never were out of it. And we stayed in the top 5 for quite a few weeks, if I remember correctly. One way or the other, I couldn't understand why he was calling me to tell me that we were renewed. And then he said, you want the bad news? I said, sure, I'll back in.
Tell the truth.
He said, you won't be with us. And I said, nothing. I didn't say a word. I let that register for a minute. He said, you still there? I said, yeah, I'm here, Norman. Well, don't you want to say something? He said, what can I say? It's your show. Have a good life. Click. And that was it. I was going to be, recalcitrant to the end. You won't get me to roll over and cry for the job. No, forget you, man. But
That's right.
I didn't curse or
Tell the
anything.
truth.
I just hung up the phone. And he didn't call me back to see if I had anything else to say. I never heard from him again for months and months and months.
Ladies and gentlemen, that you hear exactly what Brother John Amos said on there about Norm. This is why we have to recognize that we got plenty of enemies and we have no friends but ourselves. They're celebrating this man for the accomplishments of coming up with sitcoms, and particularly sitcoms that portrayed black people. But we know that these portrayals were stereotypical. They tried to get rid of James Evans' character, played by John Amos, because he was too black and too strong.
Tell the truth.
And that he knew what it was like to be a father and how black fathers are in the black community. And he saw that there was a stereotype and he wasn't going to stand for it. And he wanted to change that narrative because the JJ character is what Norm wanted to push because they think that they know what black life is. Now, he kind of got this notoriety because he had portrayed the racist white man on All in the Family, which out of that came the spinoff of the Jeffersons living in a deluxe apartment in the sky. And let's be honest, I watched George Jefferson just like you. We all enjoyed some of the, we're kids growing up, listening to this stuff, watching this stuff. We thought, it was only shows that portrayed black people, even if some of the portrayal was very stereotypical. And let's be honest, black people did like the idea of seeing a black man who had money. He owned laundry mats, right? And he was living in a deluxe apartment in the sky because through watching these shows like the Jeffersons, we were vicariously trying to live through them, wishing that we were in that same situation, living in a deluxe apartment in the sky. For those of us who came from poor backgrounds, let's be honest. But the George Jefferson character was very minstrel as well. Played by Herman, what was his name? Herman Minsley. Somebody help me out there. This brother's name. Is it Sherman? I know his last name is Sherman, or first name. Sherman Hemsley, I think is the name. Yeah, Sherman Hemsley, if I'm correct. He played the George Jefferson character. And we liked it because he would call white folks hunkies, right? And we like that. And do you know that when they pitched the idea of the show, the guy who really wrote all of this stuff that this man stole, I'm gonna get the news right now. He stole all his ideas from black writers and flipped it around on them, took it somewhere else and got all the credit for it. Because when you would see Sherman Hemsley, thank you everybody in the chat room. I appreciate you putting out there what's going on. We got Devin Locker. Nine Canada, I see you in the house. Thank you for being here. Jill's Chocolate Boutique, I thank you all for being here. Sports Express Podcast, I see you coming over. Appreciate you all coming over and rocking with the channel. When the character was created and you heard him use the hunky word towards, white people in the show, or jive, you jive turkey white, you hunky, because he would say that. Originally, Norm did not want that word to be put in there because Norm's position is that having a black man tell white people where to put it, okay, would not go over very well with the white audience, because he knew that the white audience wants to see black people shucking and jiving and Yassah, boss. They don't want to see a strong male character like a James Evans right here. They did not want to see George Jefferson, however minstrel some of his caricature and behavior was at times, when they wanted to make him strong to stand up against what we called at that time the man. They really did not feel comfortable with George being a character that would stand up to white folks and tell them where the hell to put it. Norm did not really want that. They had to fight to get that in the script. The so-called white writers in Hollywood that think they know black life. This is really what's going on here. And of course, Jimmy Walker, this brother right here, Jimmy Walker, who played the JJ character, this really hurt his career in the long run. His career never was able to take off because he was typecast by that character that he played in JJ. And of course, originally when they made Good Times, Norm and the rest of his cronies, they wanted to make this family without a father. They wanted to make another sitcom with black people with no father originally, and they had to fight for that. Did you guys know that? You ladies and gentlemen in the chat room, did you know that? Let me go back up here and read some thoughts in the chat room before I move on with the presentation. Let me see what we got here. We got brother Irv Zar 4 said, well, our people in the diaspora need to practice group economics, pool our resources if we want respect entertainment services. Right. We got to make our own. And Alicia, do you know that there's a well-known project? I don't think that project is there anymore in Chicago, but Good Times was based off of a housing project in Chicago, a very well-known, and it kind of skips my mind right now. So if anybody in the chat room knows the name of that housing project in Chicago that Good Times was supposed to be based off of, for whatever you want, for whatever it's worth, put that in the chat room, because I totally forgot the name of that particular place. What's going on, my man? Greetings to Kujin 87. Good to have you over here, brother. Clearly, white folks have a problem with black family units together under one roof, living together under one roof. I would agree with that. Ivan Reed says, Cabrini Green, yes. Yes. Thank you. Cabrini Green is the project in Chicago. Now, I think Cabrini Green was one of those high-rise projects, and I think, remember back in the late 90s or the early 90s, they were in mid-90s, they were in a process of getting rid of high-rise projects in certain major cities, and I think Chicago was one of them. I don't think that project exists anymore. I think they tore it down. If I am not correct about that, let me know. Give me a reminder in the chat room. Let me see. What's going on, Kujin? Good to see you over here, brother. We got M Music Man 1982 that's in the house. I appreciate you being here too. Norman Lear, water clear for white supremacy. Example, CBS, Caucasian Broadcasting Network, ABC, another broadcasting service. Yeah. We know what it's all about. And I got some more good stuff for y'all, so don't go nowhere. Cabrini Green, thank you, my sister. Yeah. And let me see what my man M Music Man is talking about. Music Man says, Alicia, glad to hear I'm doing. Yeah. Hey, look, if everybody's doing well, let everybody know if you're doing well. M Music Man 1982. I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody's doing well. I know things can happen to people. People can have family issues. You can have money issues. It's a lot going on in this world. So I hope everybody is doing fine. I hope your health is well. We're getting ready to go into a new year. I think that's a very important way to start these streams. Very important. I'm glad that people are talking like that. Same thing. We got Black Anonymous who says Cabrini Green is the name of the project. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody who's been putting that in the chat room. I appreciate that. Something Green Project. Yeah. Brian Simpson has said Norm smeared is what I call him because he smeared black culture all the way to enrich. Yes, he enriched himself. Let me see. We got keep saying White and Lear is not where he was. Right. Hey, what's going on? Black Magic. What's going on? What's going on? I like your what's going on? We got Jonathan Kidd. Yeah, they got rid of them. Okay. Yeah, because remember back in the day, I think the mid 90s, there was this big old project across the country to tear down high rise projects because they felt that they did studies showing that when you put people in projects stacked up like that in an impact environment, it causes violence, that violence increases and a lot of things happen. So they got rid of them. I know there are probably some still around. You know how that works. Queen, I know I am says, please, family. Let me see right here. We got Miss Jones here. She says the projects are no longer there. Thank you, my sister. Thank you, everybody, for letting me know what's going on. Narratives and Dialogue. Make sure y'all check out his channel. Salute, brother. Watching you while in Berkeley, listening to a band. Oh, I know you about that music, brother. I hope you enjoy the music in you in Berkeley. We gotta, you know what, brother, Narratives and Dialogue. We gotta meet, man. Me and you gotta meet up. Since I know you in the Bay, I'm gonna have to come up. I'm gonna have to meet with you. We're gonna have to get together off social media, brother, because we should be able to connect offline, definitely. Let me see what you're saying here. You're in Berkeley, California. They call it Zertley. Berkeley, I think, is one of the only few cities in this country that has a elementary school named after Malcolm X. I think they got 2 schools after Malcolm X in Berkeley, or 1. And they're the only city in this country, I believe, so if not Harlem, that actually recognizes Malcolm X's birthday, and it's a holiday in Berkeley. I think the kids get the day off in school. Believe it or not, this is Berkeley. Berkeley is one of the most liberal, quote unquote liberal, and I say quote unquote liberal cities in the country, and they actually celebrate Malcolm X's birthday. I find that very interesting. I used to work in Berkeley as well. That Berkeley is in the Bay Area, right near Oakland, California, in the Bay Area. For those of you who are wondering, Northern California is where it's at. Let me see here. Jimmy, you said here, 9 Canada says Jimmy Walker had contract to say dynamite. He had a contract to say dynamite. Yeah, because he was getting paid. He was doing commercials and all this sort of stuff. You're right. Yeah, he was getting paid. Isn't what Norm Lear did anti-Semitic? He cheated. Yeah, exactly, M Music Man. Exactly. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to the rest of this presentation. I talked about, remember when I talked about the Different Strokes, he produced Different Strokes. Different Strokes was all about the white savior, right? About white people coming in to save black kids. They made a show in which these two young brothers right here couldn't even have a father and mother because they killed off the parents, right? The parents died in some type of car crash. And here comes, as I had said earlier today, here comes the white family to come in and save the black kids, because there is no black people that are willing to take care of these black kids. So they get adopted by a rich white guy, the savior complex, right? And everybody on this show had bad luck. Remember, everybody, I mean, the young lady, she got on drugs. I think she was prostituting. I think she started stripping. Gary Coleman, we already know what happened to Gary Coleman. He grew up old and bitter. He got into a fight with a woman who wanted his autograph, and he worked as a security guard, couldn't get jobs. He fell on hard times. And of course, unfortunately, his family, his mother and father, stole money from him. Todd Bowles that you see right there. Remember, all the girls, come on now, ladies in the chat room. All the ladies love Todd Bowles. If I'm saying his name correct, the brother on the right side. Remember, he was on Jet Magazine showing off his BMW. All the girls liked him. All the girls. Todd Bridges is his name. Let me correct this. It's all coming back to me. Todd Bridges. Y'all love y'all some Todd Bridges. And what happened to Todd Bridges? He got caught up on drugs and alcohol and crack cocaine and whipping charges and all sorts of crazy things that was happening. This whole cast had bad luck. Now, let's get into what's really going on here, folks. You see, Norm stole all his ideas from a black writer, at least some of the most popular shows that he produced early on in terms of black TV shows. This man got rich, enriched himself off the stereotyping of black sitcoms in Hollywood and his other partners. What did I say earlier? Black people didn't run Hollywood. There were a lot of people who were Jewish, who run Hollywood, were running Hollywood at that time, are very much in Hollywood today. Norm, he enriched himself and he enriched other people that were just like him during his time, ripping off black writers. The black writer who was in a big lawsuit against him, and those was this man right here, Eric Monte. This brother had something to say. He said basically that the idea for Good Times was ripped off from him, that it was his original story, and that he didn't like when he wrote it and they put together Good Times. He also said he had a battle. It wasn't just Amos that was battling them, but this brother right here, Eric, who was the writer, who was a screenwriter, he was having a battle with Norm that you see to the right here, where he was saying, I don't like the way they're using the dialogue. Norm has an attitude where he just wants to hear black people say, Yassah, bossa, Yassah. And this brother that you see on the left side of the thumbnail said that he fought tooth and nail as this man to the right, Norm, took his ideas, stole them, put in the minstrel dialogue and minstrel behavior, which this brother, the writer here, said he didn't really originally want it like that. Also, he came up with the original idea for the Jeffersons. See, we think that Norm, they want you to think that this dude right here came up with all of this. He came up with the stereotypes and all the buffoonery on the show, yes. But the original idea came from a black man's mind. And this black man, in his mind, he didn't want the sitcoms to be minstrel showed. And he told Norm, I don't like what you're doing with the language. He did not like the JJ character being so prominent. That's what that brother right there wasn't feeling, just like brother Amos, John Amos. He didn't appreciate it. Let me let you know he was involved. I'm going to say this again. You had the Jeffersons. He had some involvement with that, but eventually had to pull away from the effery. Now, one of the scripts that he wrote, this is why he had to sue them. One of the scripts that he wrote that gave birth to that show, What's Happening, as I mentioned earlier, was one of the most famous movies, most iconic movies to this very day that all of us, if you have not seen it, you need to go see it on your local. You need to go look it up online, rent it, whatever. You need to see this movie, and that is Coolie High. This brother right here, Eric Monte, is the writer for Coolie High. It is Coolie High that was responsible for the What's Happening Now. Remembering Coolie High, this brother right here, his mother, he had a sister that he kept saying, why? He said, stop eating that peanut butter. And he had the mama, which was this sister right here who plays in What's Happening. She was the mother, his mother in Coolie High. Coolie High being another depiction of Chicago, because I believe that Eric Monte is from, I believe he's from Chicago. He said the character of Cheat, I think Go Cheat was him. This character was based off of his life, people that he grew up with. They got the idea of What's Happening Now from Coolie High, based off of the character of the sister that he had that was eating the peanut butter. He said, he said, don't you keep eating that peanut butter. And the mother was going home, was going to work, right? Somehow they spin it into a show that we know is What's Happening. But that brother Eric is the creator of Coolie High, one of the most iconic Black films that you could ever want to watch. This shit is it's iconic. It's an iconic movie. How many of you have seen this movie and invest time in watching it? So brother Eric, he got his idea stolen from Norm. Norm is not an originator. He's a copycatter. And he took the man's ideas and twisted it around into this minstrel bullshit that we all grew up watching and not really understanding, some of us, what we were really watching as we laughed like this. As we thought it was funny, the caricatures that were being put out there. Let me show you something. This is very important what I'm about to show you. I'm going to let Mr. Eric Monte speak for himself and tell you really how it all went down. I want you all to definitely pay attention to what he's going to say, as it will blow you away. Under federal law, it allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion picture videos, tapes, or videos, this under certain circumstances, without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe of the copyright under 17 USC 107.
Who was Lionel All in the Family.
Yeah.
And he came to me one day and he said, look, I'm on this show called All in the Family, and my part is just the walk on and the walk off part. He said, and I understand you're a good writer and everybody's writing for the show. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write a show that centers on my character. Mm-hmm. And I'll put both our names on it, take it in to Norman Lear, and we'll split the money. So I said, okay. So I wrote this show in which I created his mother and father, George and Louise Jefferson. Mm-hmm. And he took it in Norman Lear, and 2 weeks later, Norman sent for me. And that's how it all started.
And So, how many episodes did you write for All in the Family?
Just that one.
That one episode? But that really was the impetus that created
The Jeffersons,
the
yeah.
Jeffersons.
Yeah.
And so, did you work on the Jeffersons?
No.
Why?
Well, I pitched the show in 19...
So basically, the brother didn't work on Jeffersons, but he's the one, as he's going to say right there, he's the one that pitched the show for Jeffersons. They actually stole the idea. They stole a lot from this man. Just want y'all to know that. Eric Monte, this brother, is responsible for a lot of these sitcoms that Norman and the rest of his cronies benefited from. I want y'all to realize that. I'm going to move this back just a little bit so you can hear what he said again.
And so, how many episodes did you write for All in the Family?
Just that one.
That one episode?
Okay, so he wrote one episode for All in the Family, and then she's going to get to the Jeffersons part 2.
But that really was the impetus that created
The Jeffersons,
the
yeah.
Jeffersons.
Yeah.
And so, did you work on the Jeffersons?
No.
Why?
Well, I pitched the show in 1971. And his first thing Norman Lear said when I came into the office was, America will never buy a black man calling white people hunky in the city.
Boom. Did not just say that. Did not just say that about George. Did not just say that. He said that he said that he did one episode on All in the Family, which spinned off into the Jeffersons. He didn't work on the Jeffersons, but he was the one that pitched the idea. And when he pitched his idea, they had a hard time with the idea of Sherman Hensley, a black man, calling white folks the hunky word and telling them where to put it. He said, as he said, Norm told him that white folks would never be able to handle a black man telling white folks where to put it. Didn't I just say that? Put sevens in the chat room if y'all remember me saying that. I'm telling you, I come with the receipts right here.
No.
Why?
Well, I pitched the show in 1971. And his first thing Norman Lear said when I came into the office was, America will never buy a black man calling white people hunky in a sitcom. So then I pitched Good Times, what became Good Times. That was in 71, and Good Times didn't come on the air until 1974.
Yeah.
And in those 3 years, me and Norman must have had at least 20 meetings. And the one note I got in every meeting without fail was, you have to get rid of the father. A strong black man don't work in a sitcom.
Boom! Oh my God!
Tell the truth.
Did you hear what he just said? He said that Norm, see, this is why we can't celebrate these individuals. He's in the graveyard right now, right? This man right here, here's the younger version of him too. Same man, but younger version. This man said right here, a strong black male figure does not work well in a sitcom. Did you hear what he just said?
Through the media, and I made it clear as time went by, the writers, some of them became incensed that I was of the opinion that I knew more about a black father than they did. And it got to the place where I almost had a confrontation with several of the writers. I mean, a physical confrontation. And I guess they got tired of having their lives threatened every week about something as meaningless, seemingly meaningless, as a TV script. So that's what prompted Norman Lear to make the call. He said, we can't do this anymore. That black.
You hear what he just said? That was Brother John, who played James Evans, about this man right here. And you just heard what Brother Eric just said, the screenwriter, that he said America would never handle a black man telling white Americans where to put it on a sitcom. You see, they've always wanted to get rid of the strong black male figure. It's the same thing they're doing today where they put dress. This is why I personally, and this is why black men on social media and off these platforms, this is why we're concerned. This is why you should always be concerned about the image of a black man and a black woman. This is why they're putting black men in dresses today, putting makeup on them, feminizing us. Every damn TV show you watch, commercial you watch, they're feminizing black men. We have black entertainers running out here with dresses on, being the laugh and the minstrel of every damn show. This is why it's dangerous. They've been trying to destroy strong black male characters and strong black males on television, movies, and in real life. If you agree with me, put sevens in the chat room.
Tell the truth.
So when it went on, when he did Maude, and he introduced Esther Rolle as Florida. So these networks decided to give her her own show, and he took the show that I had created to the networks, and they said okay. So she insisted on she didn't want a matriarchal family. That's why the father was on Good Times in the first place.
Boom. Remember I had mentioned, everybody, that originally they didn't want a father on the show. They just wanted it to be like they did all black people on shows. They just wanted to be the mama, her kids, and no black father. We've seen that in other shows.
So then I went to work as a staff writer for Good Times. And I caught hell because Norman Lear was an incredible racist, but he didn't think so.
Boom. Did you hear what he said? He said Norman Lear was an incredible racist. Now, most of your white liberals who are celebrating this man will set up on their shows and talk about how he was groundbreaking. He put black people on shows that gave opportunity. They're going to ride off of that, ladies and gentlemen. But did you hear the brother who was working with him as a writer saying that he was an incredible racist? Did you hear it? Put those sevens in there if you heard it.
To the networks, and they said okay. So she insisted on she didn't want a matriarchal family. That's why the father was on Good Times in the first place. So then I went to work as a staff writer for Good Times. And I caught hell because Norman Lear was an incredible racist, but he didn't think so. And everything they wrote was stereotypic. They thought of black humor as, Yassah, boss, I was going to go down by the river.
Yeah.
And
Did you hear what that brother said? That they thought that black life was about Yassah, bossa, I'm about to go down to the river. Yassah, bossa. You see, you're going to get truth over here. You see, we're going to go deeper into the issues. You see, over here, we're going to talk about real things that affect us in real life, things that have impacted, because many of us in that chat room grew up watching this stuff and enjoying these shows because some of us were too young and didn't have the consciousness yet, the critical thinking skills yet to really understand what we are watching. And guess what? Ain't nothing changed today. You still got this same blueprint and playbook that they're running today.
And nail, they'd ignore me in the offices, take that Yassah stuff down to the cast. John Amos, Esther Rolle, and Janet DuBois would have a fit.
Did you hear what he said? Esther Rolle, let me put them up here. Esther Rolle, who you see on the right side, or Brother John Amos, they both had a fit when they would bring what the brother said. The norms of the world would bring the Yassah bossa material to these black folks to have them acted out on screen, and they didn't like it, which is why they got rid of John Amos' character because he was too strong and too black.
Tell the truth.
So when you all heard about this man living to 101 and passing away, and you see the media trying to praise him, give him all sort of dap. See, the media gonna give you one story to praise the man, but I'm going deeper with the story to tell you what you didn't know. If you did not know about this, if you did not know about this little secret about this man in these shows, if you did not know, but always thought something was strange about it, but if you did not really know, put a 1 in the chat room. If you were aware of a lot of this stuff in terms of him taking the ideas from the black man and all the dirt that was going on behind the scenes, put a 2 in the chat room. If you were aware, a 2. If you did not know, put a 1 in the chat room. What's going on? Another CG. What's going on? M Music Man 1982. Jonathan Kidd. Narrative, the Naughty American, put a 1 in there. Raw B Privilege puts a 1. So a lot of you didn't know about this stuff. But see, the information man is going to give it to you. I don't have time for foolishness on my channel. I don't deal in foolishness. That's why I don't have 1,000 people watching me right now. I don't have 500, 600 people because people like to watch foolishness on these platforms. They don't like to be informed and learn knowledge. There's a small number of us that do. We rather spend our time fighting one another over this black male and black woman battle of the sexes, and we don't even realize we're both drowning in the same damn water. We grew up, this is important because we grew up watching these shows, and these shows played a psychological manipulation on our minds. It played on our psyche, psychologically, subconsciously, and unconsciously, how we see ourselves, how we see black life, how we see black people. Our kids grew up watching this stuff, digesting this stuff inward, and most people outside of the black community get their ideas and stereotypes and views of who they think we are by watching those shows in the past and the same shit that's going on today.
Tell the truth.
Let's get back to it.
I would give them what I had written. They said, they go, okay. Norman Lear would reluctantly shoot it, put it on the air, and it became a big hit. So
basically, this man right here, who they want to give him all the praise for these hit shows, and he enriched himself, he originally did not want to go with the ideas that this brother right here just told you. He didn't want to go with this brother's idea. He fought him tooth and nail. And then when they went with this brother's ideas, it was a hit. Norman enriched himself, but this brother didn't get rich. This brother was cheated, which is why he filed a lawsuit. And I want to give you a breakdown of what that lawsuit was. Let me just break this down to you. Eric Monte says Norm Lear is a racist who stole his ideas for the Jeffersons. Okay? The creator of Coolie High, Eric Monte, says the television producer Norm Lear is a racist who stole his ideas for the 1970 hit television show The Jeffersons. Monte worked as a writer on Good Times, which he co-created with Mike Evans. During the interview with the Philadelphia Inquirer back in 2006, Monte called Lear a racist who wrote stereotypical dialogue and did not think he was racist. Monte recalled the cast of Good Times frequently having issues with the dialogue. Man, this is some real stuff, y'all. This is some real stuff. I caught hell because Norm Lear was incredibly racist, which he said there on the video, but he did not think so, and everything they wrote was stereotyped, he said. They thought of black humor as a Yassah Bassa. He said that. And I read that to you. Check this out. Eric said this: I created Good Times. I created George and Wheezy, Jefferson. I created What's Happening, which I talked about that. That was a offshoot of the Coolie High. He said Norm Lear is racist. He's a hypocrite, a thief, a liar. Now, the LA Times will not print it, but I'll state it emphatically that that's what he is. He is a racist, a hypocrite, he's a thief, and he's a liar. What ended up happening, everybody, is I want to look at something right here. There we go. Here it is. This is what he did. 1977. In 1977, I think he sued him. Eric Monte filed a lawsuit. According to ABC and CBS producers Norman Lear, Bud York, and other, stealing his ideas for Good Times, the Jeffersons, and What's Happening. They stole his ideas. So in 1977, this brother that you've been hearing talking, and I'm going to bring his video back, he filed a lawsuit against them for the theft of ideas from the Jeffersons, Good Times, and even What's Happening now. Let's get back to it.
Even though I had done 80% of the rewrites and had 2 shows of my own that I had written all by myself that go on the air, and the white writers, all 4 of them, 3 of them, had only done 20% of the writing, and they'd only got 1 show on the air. After the first season, I was demoted and they were promoted.
Did you just hear what he just said? How he was demoted? Listen to this.
Reluctantly shoot it, put it on the air, and it became a big hit. After the first season, even though I had done 80% of the rewrites,
he did 80% of the rewrite on the shows. The white writers did less work, but got all the credit.
And had 2 shows of my own that I had written all by myself that go on the air. And the white writers, all 4 of them, 3 of them, had only done 20% of the writing, and they'd only got 1 show on the air. After the first season, I was demoted and they were promoted.
Ladies and gentlemen, you hear what they said, what he said. He did 80% of the rewrites on the shows and got his shows on the air. Even though he had to do the rewrites, he got on the air. They did less work than him, put less time in. He got demoted and they got promoted. Doesn't this all sound familiar to us as they praise Mr. Norm and the rest of his cronies? They got enriched themselves off of this black man's work. Doesn't it sound all too familiar to all of us?
Why do you think that was?
Because they went to Norman Lear and they told him that every time they had an argument with the cast, I sided with the cast. And so Norman Lear was into, he thought like that, he was a racist.
Boom. He thought like them, he was a racist. So basically when that brother would side with the cast of Good Times, right? Or maybe the cast of Jeffersons, right? Or maybe even the cast of What's Happening, which he said they stole that idea from him, which was an offshoot of a very successful movie that I love dearly, and that's Coolie High. Even though he was successful in his own right, he said that he didn't get the promotions, he got demoted. That shows you the bullshit that goes on, right? Let's get back to it.
And he thought that Yassah stuff was the way to do black comedy. And so I was demoted. So the second season, I went back, and it was the same fight over and over and over again. And so when I got the show, the Coolie High movie, AIP decided to do it, and they sent the cast to Chicago to shoot the movie. I quit Good Times because was tired of going through that.
And what year was that?
That was at the end of 74, beginning of 75. The following month after I quit Good Times, they fired John Amos. That was the episode where the father died.
That broke my heart.
The ratings went in the toilet, okay? And then the following season...
Did you hear what he said? John Amos was fired around the same time that he left the show. They got rid of him. Now, we were under the impression, like I said, that John Amos just left. I kept saying almost. I apologize. It's Amos. Sorry about that. John Amos left the show. He didn't leave the show. He was fired from the show. A lot of us were under the impression that he left the show because he was tired of what was going on. He was tired of what was going on. But John Amos, at the end of the day, left the show because he got fired when he stood up against what was going on, just like brother Eric got pushed back when he stood up. So once again, it's John Amos. I've been saying John Amos. I want to apologize to everybody. I've been saying that wrong. The last name is Amos. Just want to get that correct. But that's what's going on here.
Because he was saying he was hard to get along with. He sided with me and Esther Rolle, so he was hard to get along with because he didn't want to do that Yassah boss and ass going to stuff. And so they fired him. And the ratings went in the toilet. So the following season, that proved to Norman that a strong black man would work in the sitcom. The following season, he put on the Jeffersons. He put on that episode of All in the Family that I wrote. People liked it. He put on the Jeffersons. And by that time, I had left his company. So I didn't ever write for the Jeffersons itself.
Can I just, at this point in time, Coolie High, how did Coolie High come about? I mean, you can look at her. How did Coolie High come about? Was it written orally, like you told stories and somebody wrote them down?
I told her. I just told her. We was here and I told her. I went to see the movie. Steve Krantz took me to see this movie.
The actual process of getting it done.
After I convinced Steve Krantz that wasn't real black life, he rented a recording studio for 2 days. And I went in and talked about my life for 2 days. He cut it down to a 26-minute tape, sent it around. AIP decided they wanted to do it. Steve Krantz borrowed me from Good Times because I was working on.
Now, what he's going to do is tell you how they kind of schemed to once again enrich themselves off of an idea that brother had with the Coolie High. And he's gonna name Norman, how Norman and a bunch of other people who are the usual suspects in Hollywood, how they kind of played the game to get what he had in that brain of his, that mind, to enrich himself, and how they had some company or some shell company, something that he never heard of. They were doing a lot of fidagling.
Good Times. He borrowed me from Good Times, and I wrote the script. I sat down and wrote it, typed it out and wrote it, and turned it in.
And you said that it was sort of autobiographical.
Yeah.
It was like
He's talking about Coolie High.
Created the characters based on people you knew from your hood, or?
Well, Preach was me. And Cochise was my friend that got killed, Apache. He died.
Boom. Remembering Coolie High. So Preach is him. That's the name I was trying to grasp. The brother right there with the, that's a great actor too, with the glasses. Preach is him. And then he said he had a friend that actually had died. So you remember he was the basketball star who was going to get a scholarship to play in college, and then eventually he got his life got taken by some thugs that were portrayed in the movie. Some thugs. Pretty sad stuff. I didn't like the way he died, but it was real. The way they portrayed Cooley. That's why I think black people gravitated towards Coolie High like they did, because it was a lot of realism in it.
And I based those two characters on, and then.
All right. Is everybody with me here still? Let me see here. Eddie Thorne says the naughty American us, but I think that the show was too ghetto. Let me see. Naughty American. I think that the show was too ghetto. They should have been middle-class black people. Interesting. Let me see. DJ, B-side, 1965. Lawrence. Hentley Jobs on the left. Truman on the right. Colonial Taylor on a different world. Interesting. Let me see what you're saying right here. I appreciate everybody that's here today. Let me see. The real Cooley. What's going on, brother? Reviews says Truman is Aretha Franklin's ex-husband. Oh, yeah. You talking about Glenn Turner. That's the actor. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, because, damn it, Glenn Turner's a hell of an actor. Remember, he was in JD's Revenge. How many of y'all saw JD's Revenge? If you've seen JD's Revenge that he played in, that's a classic too. That was a crazy movie. Really was. Put 7, almost like a black thriller, kind of horror, kind of a little bit of horror, because he got possessed by the spirit of a guy that was a pimp or some type of hustler, right? Remember? And he had the switchblade, and he was he started changing how he was dressing. Remember JD's Revenge? He got possessed. That's sort of like one of the first black horror movies, if you think about it, that Glenn Turner played in. How many of y'all remember JD's Revenge? Put 7s in the chat room. Yeah. This is great content today, y'all. This is great. And I want to appreciate you, the real Cooley reviews, brother. You sound like you got a channel or something like that. So let's check you out. But thank you for coming over, and appreciate the things you're saying. Everybody in the chat room is making great points. We got Jonathan Kidd in the house who says he was possessed by it was a pimp, right? It was some type of hustler, right? I was right. You're right, Jonathan Kidd, a hustler. Just like Snoop did Bones, right? Same situation. What's going on, Raw B Privilege? I'm a mess. What do you mean? I look a mess? I don't know. How y'all like the close-up camera I'm using today? I usually go with my other camera. No. Raw B, you know I love you. So keep doing your thing over there on your channel. And everybody, check out Raw B. You know, she gets raw over there on her channel. She keeps it real. And I appreciate you. I'm just keeping it real, you know. I'm keeping it real. Let me see here. We got Naughty. Let me see. Who else do we got? Oh, we got the doctor in the house. What's going on, sister? Dr. Nikki, what's going on? The doctor is in the house, PhD. She put 7. Thank you, Doc, for coming over. I appreciate you. That's a very intelligent sister there. A lot of intelligent people in this chat room. 7. It was a classic. He was a pimp. He got possessed. Nah, I'm telling you, I saw that when I was a kid. It scared the hell out of me when Glenn Turner played that role. Wasn't Glenn Turner married? Didn't he? You know what? Glenn Turner was also married to a very beautiful actress. Wasn't he with, God, what's the sister that played in Coffee? Wasn't he married to her or in a relationship with her? Who was Glenn Turner in a relationship with? Somebody knows who I'm thinking about. I'm losing track of thought on this one. Let's see. Salute Information Man. Cartel's just coming to the house. What's going on? Yeah, Glenn Turner was married to, what's her name? The one that played Foxy Brown. You know, the actor. What's her name? God, why can't I think of her name? God, man. You know what I'm talking about. She was fine. Let me see. As always, great information. Oh, thank you. Thank you, T.Y. Boogie. Thank you. Pam Grier, yeah, wasn't he married? Correct me if I'm wrong or right. Wasn't Glenn Turner either married to Pam Grier or he was in a relationship with Pam Grier? I know, damn, everybody, I know Richard Pryor is the one that she was in love with Richard Pryor at one point in time, and he messed all of that up. Then I know that Pam Grier had a relationship with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who played for the Lakers for a quick minute, but I think Glenn Turner had a short marriage to her. I think he married her. They were together for a short time. Pam Grier, thank you all. Thank you. No. I stand corrected. It wasn't Pam Grier. Pam Grier had a relationship with Richard Pryor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was Aretha Franklin. Yes, that's the right one. Right. Correcto Mendo. He was married to Aretha Franklin. I knew he was married to somebody famous. It was Aretha Franklin. That's right. They were together for a short time. That's right. I kept saying Pam Grier because I thought it was Pam Grier for some reason. And I'm so glad you came in and corrected that information. It was the great Aretha Franklin. That is fantastic. Let me see. I have enjoyed your Black History post. Oh, yeah. If you guys enjoy the Black History post that I put out on the community tab, go into the community tab and check it every day or see it in the algorithms of YouTube. And I noticed that ever since I've been posting those community tab, I'm getting just a little bit of a secret out there. It's important to put community tabs out there because not only do the people that subscribe to your channel see your community tab, but people who haven't discovered your channel yet can see the community tab. So it brings in more people to your channel as well. And I think the community tabs that I've been putting out has brought people either back to my channel, back into their algorithm, and either new subscribers as well. So I appreciate all of you if you're new to the channel. So, hey, Bob TV, do the same thing, brother, because I know you have a channel. Put out community tabs. It's another way to push your channel forward. And Bob says, Richard left Pam at the altar, that the power of that boogie sugar. Yeah, that booger sugar. Yeah, because he was hooked on the drugs. She was in love with him. And then I think she was in love with him. And then she fell in love with Kareem, and things didn't work out with her and Kareem. And I think Kareem to this very day, he knows he let a good one go. I don't know. Look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know what was wrong with them black men. I don't know we know it was wrong with Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor was on that sugar candy, right? That booger candy. But I'm sorry. If I got a woman like Pam Grier checking for me, I ain't messing that up, okay? I ain't messing that up. No way. No, y'all crazy. No. I'm gonna put a ring on that one. I mean, come on now, it's Pam Grier. She was like pop and bam, okay? And also, she is also a very intelligent woman too, okay? Very intelligent woman. But Richard Pryor, you blew it, brother. And Kareem, come on, man. Y'all blew it. But anyway, let's get back on track here. Yeah, I know Richard Pryor was on the cocaine and he had all kind of problems and freebasing and, had all kind of issues. It's a damn shame. What's going on, Mike B? Glad to have you over here. I know, Raw, you saying right now, hey, info is a mess today. But anyway, let me get back on track because I have another video from Mr. Eric, the writer of the original writer of he came up with the original idea for Jeffersons. He came up with the Good Times writing. And a lot of these ideas, as I had said before, were stolen from him. And other people like Norm and all of his cronies, they got the benefits. And this is why this man back in, I'm going to say it again, in 1977, he filed a lawsuit against all the parties involved in the nonsense. Now I want you to hear it out of his own mouth right now. Check it out. This is fair use for parody education, for critical analysis, critical news reporting, the whole 9 yard in parody. This is fair use.
Obviously knew that there was nothing out there.
Absolutely.
This was right in the midst of the blaxploitation.
Yeah, I know.
thing.
I know.
And were you worried whether or not it would get?
I quit as soon as AIP sent the cast to Chicago to shoot the movie. I quit Good Times.
Okay.
Because I knew it was going to be a hit. There was no doubt in my mind, just like I knew Good Times was going to be a hit.
So I think he's talking about Coolie High. When he decided to get into the movie game, he knew that Coolie High would be a hit. And I guess that's, like he said, he got out of the business of Good Times at that point. Let's continue.
Like I knew George and Louis Jefferson was going to be a hit. There was no doubt in my mind.
I'm trying to get at where your confidence came from, because you said there was no doubt in your mind, but up until that point, there was nobody really. I mean, you sort of were setting the precedent, so
Yeah.
How did you know that?
Because I wrote it.
Tell the truth.
Because he wrote it. Go on, brother. Go on, brother. Eric. Go on,
And
brother. He knew it was going to be success because he wrote it.
On the set, did you see it?
I did. I went to Chicago for like a week, and I saw him on the set. Yeah.
How much did they pay you for it, if I can?
I think I got paid $25,000 to write the script.
Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, that seems like we know that a lot of black writers and producers got ripped off back in the day. $25,000 was a lot of money in those days in comparison today. So you got to keep that in mind. But he got ripped off. You know, he got ripped off. In comparison, it was probably pennies in compared to what this man right here, Norm, probably made in the long run. Okay? Let's just keep that in mind. Let's just keep that in mind.
I haven't the vaguest idea.
Was that good?
I got paid $25,000 and 2.5% of the producer's net.
Okay.
And I should interject. Now, I don't want to bring up bad blood or anything, but I worked on the Cosby Show. Now with the Writers Guild, if you create a character in one episode of a show, and that character comes back, the writer who created that character gets paid every time
That character shows up. Yeah.
Right. But when you created it, they didn't have that.
Yes, they did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
But you had to fight to insist that you
Yeah, the writers, see, the thing was, the Writers Guild only wanted to pay me minimums, okay? And what's happening was based on Coolie High. So I should have got whatever I wanted for what's happening. So ABC, Mike Eisner called me in and they wanted to do a series based on.
Right, brother, it is peanuts, but what he also said is that every time the character showed up, because the young brother that was interviewing him thought that whenever the characters show up, they didn't get paid, but he did get paid. That is peanuts when you look at it by today's standards, but you have to also take into account, Brother Mike, the inflation at that time. So $25,000 was still a lot of money in those days compared to what it is today with inflation. However, you're right. He still probably got peanuts and got ripped off in comparison to this man right here that everybody was celebrating his life as a TV producer. That is Norman, right? Norman Lear, right? Or Lear, who all these black actors and writers were battling with this man, who many of these folks today would say, oh, he's liberal and he's progressive. And you know, white people have screwed up the word woke. Black people, when we came out with that word, it's totally different than what they done turned it into today. But a lot of people would label this guy as liberal and woke and blah, 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 because he doesn't like Donald Trump, right? He came out and spoke out against Donald Trump, which I don't give a damn, because Norman Lear, I agree with Brother Eric that he is a racist. And he was on this stereotypical crap when producing these types of shows. And let's get back to it.
Coolie High. So I said, okay, but I don't want to go through what I went through at Norman Lear, at Tandem Production. So I wanted to produce it under my own production company. And I'm not mad at him for taking the Jeffersons. He can have that. I want to produce under my own production company. I'll make buku money. So they said, okay, but you've never produced. So you need.
You see right there, the brother gets pushed back. Here you have a black man that says, I'm going to do my own thing and stop working for y'all. And here comes the pushback. But yet he's got more, he's got more to his credit that he's produced and has written than probably the people that's telling him what he can't do. You see what I'm saying? They're always trying to tell us what we can and cannot do.
Some line producers. So I said, okay. So they said, your agent, Bernie Weintraub, he represents these two line producers.
Now, I want you to listen to these names that he's saying. They're the usual suspects in Hollywood, and you know what I'm talking about when I say that. Listen to the names and who they're linked to. Listen.
You've never produced, so you need some line producers. So I said, okay. So they said, your agent, Bernie Weintraub, he represents these two line producers, Saul Turtletop and Bernie Ornstein. We want to use them. So I said, okay. So I wrote.
You notice the names? These are the people who claim that they marched with black people during the civil rights. These are the people that's telling black folks, why are you not going to support us against the Palestinians?
The pilot script for what's happening. Turned it in to ABC. They accepted it. Okay. When they set up the offices, it said toy production. And I was like, who the hell is toy production? Turtletop and Ornstein had gone out and formed a company with Bud Yorkin, Norman Lear's partner. ABC had signed to do the show with that company.
Do you hear the trickery here? Norman was involved in this. So the names are very important. These are people that are, when we talk about black people needing to be, what do we call it? Black people needing to be on code with each other. You notice all these names have similarities to it. And Norman was connected to the very people that they were trying to tell Brother Eric that he needs to connect with to be able to get his production company off the ground. And he said there was some group called Toy Production. He said, what the hell is Toy Production? Well, Norman was connected to that with all the rest of those names that that he named, because they're all on code with one another to help one another make money off this black man, cheat him out of money. Black people, this is a lesson that we need to learn for ourselves. Why don't we be on code with one another?
And my agent, Bernie Weintraub, had negotiated
his
the
agent
deal, all behind my back.
And these are the same.
So his agent, this is crazy. His agent did this behind his back because his agent is what? On code with his own people.
Tell the truth.
Ornstein, Weintraub, that did Sanford and Son.
Yes. So I went to the Writers Guild, and the Writers Guild was into, okay, we can get you minimums. Because I had proof that I created Good Times, I created George and Louisa the Jeffersons, that I created Cooley, What's Happening.
Just by the sheer fact that you created those characters entitled you
to pay me.
Even if you didn't work on the Jeffersons series,
right,
the fact
right,
that you created those characters
entitled you. Okay. So, but Norman Lear hadn't put my name on the credits at all, and I had proof. But the guild was into, we can get you minimums. And I felt I deserved more than minimums.
Right.
So I filed a suit against ABC, CBS, Saul Turtletop, Bernie Ornstein, Bud Yorkin, Norman Lear, Bernie Weintraub. I filed a lawsuit against.
You notice the names. You notice the names. All of them had something in common. Because they're on code and they were looking to rip this brother off. This is truth. This is Tell the Truth Media, y'all.
Tell the truth.
This man right here got ripped off by his lawyer, that was in cahoots with the rest of them because they was all connected to this man right here, Norm. This is called group connection. This is called group economics, meaning group economics amongst being on code with your own people who you share a common religion with to take from black man. And we sitting up here on YouTube sometimes fighting each other, other people laughing at us because they're on code and making money off of our effery. And they were on code together to fleece this brother of the profits that he should have made in his involvement in these productions, these TV productions that we grew up watching and laughing.
So that's what happened. So at the end, my lawyers that were representing me, Norman Lear came to me and he offered me $1 million for a settlement. And I said, for all those shows, no way. So the lawyers came to me and they said, look, take that money because you still have your suit against the networks and the others, but at least we'll get paid. So I said, okay. He offered me $1 million at one point in good time. So I said, okay.
I think the brother, that's a lot of money back in those days, but can y'all think how much money he would have earned if he would have went all the way with his suit? Damn.
So when the papers came down, all the defendants were listed. So I said, I didn't agree to this. They said, either you take this or we're walking off the case. This was 1 week before the statute of limitations ran out. I went all over Los Angeles looking for lawyers to represent me. I had the evidence and everything, okay? No lawyer in that town would take my case. So about 3 days before, and I didn't have the legal skills to go against Norman Lear and CBS's lawyer in court, even though I had the evidence, because you can lose a case on the technicality.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you why he lost that case or why he could not get a lawyer. It goes back to what I've been saying, is that all the people, if you notice all the names of the people, from his lawyer to all the people that were telling him what he had to do, they all had a connection to Norman Lear. And in that town we call Los Angeles, where you have acting, they all are connected to each other. They could probably pick up a phone and call the lawyers that he would need and told them, don't take his case, because they're all connected. Because they're lawyers. They're in the entertainment business. They're lawyers. They're in the business. This is why we as a people, we don't need rappers. I'm going to say some things that's going to make some people upset, and I'm going to keep it real with you. We don't need black people. Let's keep it real. We really don't need lawyers. We don't really, black people, hear me out. This is what I'm really trying to say. I made a boo-boo right there. We don't need entertainers. We don't need rappers. We don't need singers. Really, we don't. We got plenty of entertainers. We don't need athletes. What we need is black people that's lawyers, doctors, and business people, because the reason why that brother could not get a lawyer in that town to represent him, because a lot of those lawyers are on code with Norm and all of his cronies, because they're all a part of the same club, if you know what I'm saying here. They're all a part of the same background. They all speak the same language because they're on code with one another, and they're sending their kids to school to be lawyers, businessmen, captains of industry. Black people, we need more black lawyers. And I ain't talking about the crumps. I'm talking about power brokers, not people that cut deals, who make deals with people who take our lives. Because think about it. Why is it that this brother didn't have a lawyer that he could go to? Now, don't say I don't think Johnny Cochran was popping at that time yet. Now, I could be wrong, but depending on what kind of lawyer he needed, because different lawyers do different type of law, of course. But what it shows me is that he couldn't get a lawyer because they were all tied into the same network against him. This is why black people, look, it's great to have people that can sing and dance and play sports. That, okay, we know we got that. But do we need more of that, or do we need more black professionals, more black plumbers, black people who have skilled trade skills, and then black people who have professional skills? To me, he had a no-win chance because the cards were stacked against him, and they have a network of connection where they can pick up the phone and say, don't take his case. He's going up against Norm and a whole bunch of other people that we're all connected to, John. No problem. We'll make sure that this Negro's case doesn't get taken up by any of us. That's how that town, that's how Los Angeles is, especially in that entertainment game. Everybody knows everybody. All it takes is a phone call to shut you down. This is a damn shame. He would have needed an entertainment or contract attorney in the Hollywood they are. Yeah, but the problem is, if they're all of the same club and background and belief system, he didn't stand it. Brother Eric did not stand a chance. That's the sad thing about it. Yep, that's how it is. Thank you, Mike B. Luther P is just coming and says, see one, and I remember my younger brother told me she know that she let a good man slip through her fingers and she regretted. Yeah, you let good people slip through your fingers. That's not a good thing. Johnny was just one lawyer. We need a circle, AK network of, yes, we need a network of them. That's why I was saying that. And I look, ain't nothing wrong with people who like to play sports or sing and entertain, right? But I got to be honest, within our community, we got plenty of people that are singers and rappers. What I'm saying is we don't really need more rappers and more entertainers. We need more people with professional skills and skilled trades. Because that brother should have been able to go to a large number of lawyers that could have represented him that looked just like him. That's what I'm saying. And remember, this is back in 1977, y'all. We're not talking about the 2000s. He put this lawsuit in 1977. So you got to imagine, for those of you that are millennials, Z generation, it was a very different world in 1977. I think I was about 7 years old or 8 years old in 77. It was a very different world than what it is today. And y'all know it. The doctor, hey, what's going on, Naps? What's going on? What are you saying to us, brother? What are you saying to us today? The jobby, the Juby boo boo. Yeah, brother. Yeah, I got my way of saying it. I got my way. Y'all know I'm speaking in code. Everybody in that chat room know what I'm talking about. You know, we on these YouTube streets, so you know the YouTube algorithms and YouTube, they'll shut you down. So you got to know how to talk in code to your people to get the message that everybody understands out there. Y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying? Hit those sevens in the chat room. We got black people. Let me see this by Eddie. He says this: black people need their own movie production companies, just like we had Motown. And right, remember? Do you remember in the 1900s, a motion picture company called Lincoln Films? Black people did have their own motion picture company. It was called Lincoln Films. They made some of the best movies. And it was a variety of movies. It showed black people as heroes, cowboys, love movies. It was everything. Lincoln Films. Everybody talks about Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry ain't the first. Go back and look at what black people were doing in the 1900s. We had our own film companies. Lincoln Films. They called it race movies in those days. Lincoln Films. I want y'all to look that up. I appreciate everybody. DJ is in the house. What's going on, DJ? Let me see. I thank you all for rocking with me this evening. I'm going to get ready to end pretty soon, but I appreciate y'all rocking with a brother like y'all doing. And do me the biggest favor. Share this video out in the social media. And the reason why I asked you to do that, because once again, you know YouTube is going to suppress this video. They're going to make sure it don't get to more and more people, because that's how YouTube works. When you upload a video or you go live, the YouTube algorithms is supposed to send it to people who would be interested in the content, right? But when you're talking all this truth over here, like we're doing today, and like you're doing in the chat room, YouTube has a way of saying, let's marginalize the video. So that's why I always say, I need y'all to share it out to try to beat them at their own game, because that's the game that they play to suppress these type of channels. They rather y'all listen to, you know, all the nonsense that goes on. Let me see. I was 14 back in 1977. Oh, showing my age. Yeah, I was about 7 years old, brother. Let me see. Oh, there was somebody that I wanted to, was that Nats? Where you at, man? Let me see. He's talking to the doctor right now. He's saying what's up to the doctor. Oh, let me see. Let me see. Did I miss something? Let me see. Did you disagree? Let me see. The doc says, I disagree with that statement. Rappers are street. Well, let me say this. Doc, would you agree that the rap music that we're listening today is not the same as the rap music that we listened to in yesteryear? So you got to remember, Doc, well, you wouldn't know this, but I would know this. I've been rocking with rap music since the late 70s. I used to break dance. I used to strut, the whole 9 yard. And back in the day, you know that, like I know, that rap music used to have a very positive message about uplifting, right? Everybody at one point in time was wearing the African medallions. We were saying, look east, my brother, my sister. You had brothers that were not calling ourselves the N-word, but we were saying brothers and sisters and peace to each other, right? You had X-Clan, you had Public Enemy. You had some groups out there like Parrish from Oakland, California, that were putting out positive things, right? So rap music actually increased the number of black people going to what? Historical black colleges, right? Because they were producing the videos on black colleges. And then when the gangster rap came in, it screwed everything up. It started putting out the narratives about black women being B words, right? And the N-word got shouted all over the place. So what I'm saying is, I'm saying that the rap music that we're listening to today, with the drill music, the gangster music, the negative stuff, black women like the Cardi B's, or Cardi B's not even black, she's Latino, but Omega Stallion, they're putting out a lot of negatives, a lot of stuff that's sexualized stuff that our young ladies, they don't need all of that, right? So I'm saying we don't need that type of entertainment. We got enough of it. We need more black professionals, and we need black people who have skilled trades, so that when we have a problem, we can go to our own people for services, right? Because if you listen to Brother Eric, listen to who he had representing to him. It wasn't nobody that was in his corner. They bamboozled him. That's what I mean. You know, I'm not talking about the people that was putting out the good stuff, but we don't have those people no more because they can't get no airplay. Remember, I say this all the time. Parrish was from Oakland. He was a very conscious rapper out of Oakland. He even admitted it on a video that he couldn't get no more airplay. They would not play the rap music that was uplifting our people. That could not get any airplay. The gangster rap completely was taken over by people. You know who took it over? The people that he was naming that Eric was naming. It got infiltrated and destroyed by black folks that was willing to sell out for $1 to rap that way, by people with the same names that Brother Eric was talking about. Them names, and you know who I'm talking about when I say that. You know what I'm talking about, y'all. Y'all know I'm telling the truth.
Tell the truth.
Let me see. Superhero was the hit. Yeah, Parrish was dope, Brother Mike, but we know what happened to him. He couldn't make a living off of his music anymore because the radio stations would not play the music. Trap music. Right. Music is the only thing that can enter your self-conscious mind without your permission. What was the gift and power that Satan had, the devil? It was the gift of music to manipulate you. So I'm not blaming it all on music, but music has played a part in changing the messaging. Because remember, prior to that, Black people, the music that was coming out was making us proud of ourselves. It was uniting us. It was bringing us together. You had Black people talking different about each other in terms of the music. And then all of a sudden, everything changed. Once the gangster music came in and took over, now all of a sudden, here comes the sagging pants below your behind, because that prison culture was permeating through the gangster music, and then the kids were emulating it, right? The messaging about how they were talking about women and talking about, it was just terrible. It's just terrible stuff. Terrible, in my opinion. Thank you, my sister. I know you understand the point. I get it. Good content. Hey, thank you very much. We got the Bunker TV is in the house here. Parish, Public Enemy, X-Clan. Yeah, I love X-Clan back in the day. So what's going on, Great Pill Podcast? He says, salute to the chat in the panel. Hey, thank you. Thank you for being here. Hey, everybody, I'm about to get ready to get out of here. We got, let me see, A Different World also contribute to Black people wanting to go to college as well. Yeah. Oh, The Different World was incredible. But you know what happened in A Different World? When they took Different World off the air, do you realize that the ratings weren't necessary? You know, most times when they cancel TV shows, it's because the ratings are bad. They took Living Single off of air as well as Different World, and both those shows were still doing quite well in the ratings. So that tells you that they didn't want to put out TV shows that really showed a different background of young Black people. They didn't really want that out there. They got rid of those shows eventually when those shows were still doing relatively well. It's a damn shame, but it is what it is. Let me see here. Gangster rap of the late 80s and early 90s isn't as rap as it's not rap. Rap is today mumble rap. I don't like any of the stuff, to be quite honest with you today. What's going on? Another CG for coming through. I appreciate you coming through like you have. Because of the destiny. Well, everybody, I'm about to wrap it up. I appreciate you all spending this time with me. Make sure you, if you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, share the video on all your social media. I really appreciate everybody. I'll continue to keep dropping history notations and all sort of means in the community tab. So make sure you always keep your eye on the community tab. If you're not sure where the community tab is, if you go on the page of the YouTube channel, of this YouTube channel, and you move it from video, from home to from video, you'll see something that says community. And if you go into community, you'll see all the different stuff that I've dropped in there. History, notable people in history, notable TV, Black movies in the past, a little bit of everything that I put in there. And I hope you enjoy these tidbits because I'm going to continue to keep cranking them out. And I hope that you enjoy them and hope that there's some people that learn something that they probably were not aware of, that they now know now, or it reminds you of something that you were aware of before, but it's another reminder. So I really appreciate you all. And we're going to get ready to get on out of here. Let me see who else we got in the chat room. Everybody's been good. Let me see. Great live info hand, purple blue. Peace. Oh, we got Keeper 116's in the house. Everybody, it's been a joy to be able to put out these videos and talk about these issues with you all. And I'm going to keep putting this type of content out. We're gonna hit on the hot button issues that sometimes people don't want to talk about. And at some point in time, I'll probably have a panel or two here and there to get people up on the panel and hear what you have to say about different issues. We got party music. Party music, what's up, man? Hey, send me the, did you send me an email? Can we please, yeah, we're going to collaborate, party music DJ. Make sure y'all check out this brother channel. He's a really good brother. He has a gaming channel, but he does some other things on YouTube, and he wants to collaborate and get into some of these issues that we get into over here. And but send me that that email. Let me check and see that I get an email from you. I'm checking my email right now, brother. I need that email, or send me an IG. My IG page is Information Man Show. That's my IG. You can send me a message over there with your email, and then I'll get back to you. Anybody can send me an email about anything that you're interested in or you want me to talk about, possibly cover. Just let me know. Just do that, man. I appreciate you coming over too, brother. Let me see. What's up? Long time no see. Mrs. Dear Drake. What's going on, Thompson? What's going on? Hey, I'm still doing my thing over here. I normally go live on Sundays, so you can always look for me to do something on Sundays if I don't do anything any other day. And we're just going to keep doing what we got to do. We got SY say, you forgot to say that the concept of the TV show Friends was taken for live from 11. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. You, SY says, made a very good point today that the show Friends, they actually stole the idea from Living Single. Even though Living Single was still doing well in the ratings before they ended the show, but then all of a sudden they come up with Friends with the same concept. You're absolutely right, SY says. Thank you for that. All right, everybody, we're going to get on out of here and make it do what we make it do. Y'all have a great evening. And here we go. Peace. I appreciate all of you. Peace. Make sure you subscribe. Appreciate that. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you. Peace.
show can be found on Facebook, Instagram, I call it Twitter still, and of course, YouTube, yes.
BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today.